Hi, Ga! So you're new, and you're looking to enroll at the University of Mindanao. No problem. With UM's open education, you don't have to take an entrance exam. But how do you enroll? Step 1. Fill out your Student General Information Sheet or the SGIS and attach the requirements indicated in it through this link. Remember, you get to keep a reference number after the registration. Step 2. Use the reference number to pay your down payment through any bank, Bayad Center, or even fund transfer. You can also find the rest of the payment options in UM's official Facebook page. Once the payment is done, send a copy of your transaction with your full name and contact number to cashiermain@umindanao.edu.ph. Step 3. Wait for an SMS alert where you will receive your student account ID number and more details about your account. Step 4. With the previous step done, you may now log in to the UM student portal. Once inside, click on Online Enrollment found in the navigational menu. Then click on Enroll Course. Step 5. Choose your desired session if you'd like to take classes in the morning, afternoon, or the evening. Submit your choice and get your certificate of matriculation or the Form 1 to proceed to the last step. Step 6. Wait for issuance of your email address through the email stated in your SGIS. Finally, claim your UM Form 1 and ID at the admission office once the quarantine is lifted. And that's it! You are now officially enrolled. Welcome to the University of Mindanao.
오늘 세상이 멈췄어 아무런 예고도 하나 없이 꿈은 기다림을 몰라서 눈치 없이 와버렸어 발자국이 지워진 거리
Okay.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome to KAED 500 Component B seminar. So this is the first day now that we're going to have the continuation of component I mean KAED 500. So you're done with your component A together with the guidance and testing center. So this time for component B and C. Just a reminder for our KAED 500 participants. So when you enter the Zoom meeting, so you agree with the following, no? You use your full name, no, in the username. So you may rename your name, no, on so that we can see your whole name. I mean your full name in our screen. And then please ensure that your microphones starts on mute. So we encourage that you be mindful of your audio or your microphone. Make sure that it is muted when someone is talking, so that we cannot disturb on our discussion. So we strongly recommend also that your web camera is turned on, no? But if it hindi kaya ng signal, so para on off lang. So the chat feature is only to be used to communicate with the presenter or the KL facilitator. So you may use the chat box later if you want to ask questions or clarifications regarding our discussion this morning. All right. So to start our seminar this morning, let us have our prayer, requesting everyone to please bow down your heads and close your eyes and let us pray. Our most gracious and loving Father, we thank you, God, for this day that you have given to us. We thank you, Lord, for the gift of life. And we even bow down before you right now, asking, Lord, for forgiveness for all the things that we've done that we're not able to glorify your name. And Lord, as we will start with our Component B seminar this morning, we pray for your guidance and protection. We pray for a good connection and even pray, Lord God, that you would give us enlightenment with the things that we're going to discuss today. Bless the speaker, oh God. Bless every one of us. We give you praise, glory, and honor. In your name we pray. Amen. So again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Component B seminar, the pre-employment seminar for local applicants. And to give us more information and our speaker for this morning, ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President for External Relations and International Affairs Office, Dr. Reynaldo C. Castro. But before Sir Ray will have his time for the discussion of Component B seminar, let's have first the motivation, what we call energizer. So since we believe that you are already in your fourth year level or third year level, you already experienced um, being in an interview, or you have your knowledge with regards to some of the things na ginagawa natin in an interview. All right, so let's have first a motivation. We request everyone to go to menti.com and then use the code 96787026. Please also write your full name so that you'll be able to recognize later. Because after this, on the culmination, we will give a prize kung sino yung nasa top leaderboard later. Okay, so we request our students to go to menti.com, have another tab. So right now we are 339 in our Zoom room. So we expect that there will be a lot of students who will go to menti.com. Okay, so don't you worry, guys, you'll have a prize. Now, once you will be the winner of this activity. All right, pasok, pasok mga suki. All right. Okay. So, so the code is 96787026. Makita niyo yan sa screen natin ngayon. So you just go to www.penti.com and use the code 96787026. By the way, no, we are also live no in our YouTube channel, the University of Mindanao Official. If there's a problem with your connection, so you may also no view no or join our seminar through our YouTube channel. And if there's a problem also no, with the discussion or because of the connection, you may also review no, our seminar this morning through our YouTube channel. So you just subscribe, no? Don't forget to like, no, and also subscribe, no, our YouTube channel. So other information with regards to the university and then sa ating YouTube channel. So we are already 149. Okay. So keep coming lang. So I think sir no we can start no, our Menti. So let's start with the first one. Enter sir.
Sa magpadakon.
All right. So how long is the ideal resume? So you choose 1 to 2 pages, 4 to 5 pages, or it depends on the job. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time is up. Let's see kung asaan yung pinakamanabi. Mostly nagsabi 1 to 2 pages and that is correct. Congratulations. Let's see who's on top sa ating leaderboard. All right. So sa first question, ang nangunguna is si John Dexter. Then he's also the fastest. And then Mervin, Adrian, and Micah. Parang familiar ito si Adrian ba? Okay, sige. Let's proceed to the next question. Let's see kung si John Dexter pa din yung number 1 later. All right, question 2 of 5. So answer fast to get more points. Here's the question. The objective of the resume is for the applicant to get hired. Is this true or false? So click now your answer. Let's see kung madami ang will get the right answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And time is up. Dito sa chat true, mas halos. But let's see. The correct answer is false. All right. So maybe you're confused. So maybe later, no, we will discuss that one. Bakit ganun? So what's really the purpose of the resume? All right. Okay, still John Dexter is on number 1. Then Mervin, then Cloyd. Okay, wala na si Adrian. All right. Okay, it's false because no the purpose of the resume is to get all right, so later we will discuss that one. Question 3 of 5. So in most job application, the best applicant gets the job. Is it true or false? Ten seconds. Okay, nag-loading ang ating ano. All right. So the correct answer is false. So if you go back to second question, di ba? The resume, no, the purpose of the resume is to get an interview. So this also leads to this question. So in the most job application, the best interview gets the job. Ayan. So false ang answer. Okay, let's proceed to the next question. Second to the last question. Ay, at tingnan mo natin yung sino yung nasa leaderboard natin. Would it still be John Dexter or meron ng changes? Still, no? John Dexter. Okay, no? Magaling si John Dexter. Fastest pa ha? So, consistent. Okay, 4 of 5, please enter. So, can we start the countdown? Answer fast to get more points. Here's the question. Which of the following should not be included in the resume? Contact number, education, height, and religion. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time's up. Okay. Let's see. So madami nag-answer sa height and religion. Yes, that is correct. So later on, we will discuss why. Bakit hindi pwede lagay ang height and religion. Last question. But let's see kung sino muna yung nasa leaderboard. Will it still be John Dexter? Okay, grabe si John Dexter. Fastest pa din. Very consistent. Okay, question 5 of 5. The last question for this energizer natin. Answer fast to get more points. Will you do the job? Is a general question on the applicant's blank. Skills, motivation, or adaptability? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time's up. Let's see kung saan ang pinakamadaming answer and if that's correct. Okay, mostly sabi skills, but the correct answer is motivation. Okay, let's see kung si Dexter pa rin ang ating number 1. Oops. All right. So I think still our winner, no? Our winner for this activity is John Dexter. So please type your name here sa chat box no para makita namin, and then I will be recognizing you no sa ating culmination. All right? So thank you very much no for joining. So hopefully you are already energized and you are ready no for our seminar this morning. Again, ladies and gentlemen, our speaker for today, Dr. Reynaldo C. Castro. Virtual round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, Benj. Let me change my background first. Okay. Good morning to our students. We have 392 students in our Zoom, and I believe that we also have some students watching in our YouTube, no? So thank you. Let me share my screen. For sure you're having fun with our activity, no? And then let me click the slideshow. So this is a pre-employment seminar for CAID 500. You are required to attend the seminar, the webinar today, because you are enrolled in the CAID 500 program, no? So your CAID 500 course is a unique course, no? We're the only university that offers this course. You cannot find this in other university. This one is offered to our senior students, mostly senior, but I understand that some of you are, in your junior years or you're not yet graduating. But we would expect that you're taking this course because you only have like a semester or two left in the university, and that we're offering this to prepare you for the world of work. No, most likely most of you will be looking for jobs, and we're in a challenging times. Even prior to pandemic, we have been offering CAID 500. Your CAID 500 has three components. Among other courses that you have in the university, your CAID 500 is also unique because it has three components and it's handled by several in charge, several coordinators. It was mentioned by Benji that your component A, Guidance and Testing Center, handles your component A, and that's 30% of your grade. For your component B and your component C, we're in charge of that. Your B is 30% and your C is 40%. No? So that's why you have to be worried about that. You have to be careful about that because in case you have incomplete grades in CAID 500, then you have to make it sure which component you were not able to or you missed submitting requirements or completing something. No? That's why you have incomplete grades. All right. So you're now in your component B. Therefore, we assume that you are done with your component B and that you have submitted and you have complied all your requirements. Okay. All right. Um, so this is how you are graded in your component in your CAID 500. For your component A, according to the guidance center that you have your work situation analysis, your simulation, and that you're required to submit an essay. No? For component B, your attendance today is 35 points, no, for the 30%. So it's very important that you should be present in your seminar today. If you have friends or classmates who missed the seminar today, there's another session this afternoon. You will be asked to submit a sample application letter and resume after my webinar, no, after this webinar, and that there's a coaching session. No? Your CAID 500 facilitator under component B and C will schedule a coaching session or a different session, separate session with you. That's why you have to attend that session. No? Your component C, still under the external relations and our office, no, will have part two of our webinar, and that is 40 points of your grade. No, you will be required to submit a career portfolio. Please take note of that for our students today. You can take a screenshot of the slide, no, that I am showing on screen. No? There will be culmination program. We're going to have a culmination program, and your participation to that, your participation to the activities of our culmination program, that accounts for 20 points. And again, another coaching session, that's 5 points. I ask our students to please mute your phone, no? Okay. Better if you can like turn on your camera, kasi baka I've been talking here and that no one is listening, like you're doing something, no? All right. So I strongly suggest that you switch off your phone and you turn on your camera. All right. So the topic that I'm going to present to you today, and that the topic that we're going to explore today, is that how are you going to prepare a winning cover letter or application letter and resume, no? And that in the Mentimeter, I have noticed that most of you were not able to get the correct answer for the second question. I think something about the application letter. There was a statement that the purpose of application letter is for you to get a job, and the answer was actually false, no? The second topic is how are you going to ace in your job interview, no? And in fact, quite a number of you also got the wrong answer when the question was asked about, in most job application, the best applicant gets the job, and it has something to do about job interview, and some topics about social media etiquette, because the best way for the potential employer, your potential employer, to do a background investigation is for them to be able to explore your social media account. And we're going to talk about a bit about what is the best social media platform na pwede ninyong ilagay sa inyong resume or sa inyong application letter. Okay? I think it's Cyril, no? Sino ba yung ingay? Na nagahukad sa kaldero no nagatakang. Okay, so let's proceed. So first, let's talk about why write a cover letter. what is the importance of writing an application letter. And again, if you remember that you got many of you got the wrong answer, no, when you were asked if the purpose of the application letter is for you to get the job, no, where in fact it's not, no. Okay, so you write a cover letter. First reason is that to show your communication skills, no? Specifically your writing skills that you can write. And remember this, regardless of your degree, of your bachelor's background, whether you're into education, criminology, engineering, or architecture, no? Or you're into technical courses, it is therefore expected that you can write well. All right? Because at least at one point or several points of your career, when you will be hired by a company, whether private, government, or whatever is that, no, there will be occasions that you need to write. You have to write. That's why one way of testing your capability is looking at your application letter. If you can write well, okay, you know what I mean? The second is that to highlight purpose of the letter. What is the intention of you writing the letter, and you introduce yourself, no, to the reader. Who are you, by the way? I mean, you know. The third one is that to give the reader an idea whether to continue reading the rest of your documents, no. Um, you know, HR, remember this always, students, that HR people are very busy people. And, you know, most likely every day they receive application letters, no, because in most cases application letters are coursed through the HR office, no. So they're very busy. And the thing there is that they have to see your application letter and whether they can see justification of further reading your documents, like your resume and the other credentials that you have submitted to them. Okay, so how are you going to write a cover letter? A cover letter that counts, a cover letter, an application letter that will caught the attention of your potential employer, of the HR, no, of the reader. So we have here, okay, we have here a sample, no. Of course, you have your heading, your address, no, and then the inside address. The inside address is very important. Why? Because if I am the reader of your letter, this is my first test of whether you have exerted effort, no, of knowing our company. You have done research about to whom you are going to address the letter. You follow that, no? I hope you understand my point, no? So the inside address, you have to be specific here. So it says here that you have to write the employer's name, and if you don't have any idea, no, to whom you are going to address the letter, then you have to exert effort. You may call, you may give a ring, no, sa company. You may pay a visit. You know, if it allows you to do that, then you can like go to the company and visit the HR and ask from them, no, to whom you are going to address the letter. So kunin nyo talaga ang pangalan. Hindi pwede magsabi lang kayo na the president, the HR manager, diretso agad-agad, no? Kunin niyo ang correct, ang saktong pangalan ng inyong addressee. Okay? Hindi pwede na walang pangalan. Ha? Klaro yan. Because students, you will be asked to submit sample application letter. Okay? All right. After the name, of course, this is business correspondence 101 anyway, no? But you know, we have to review this. We have to remind our students how to write an application letter, because even if you have your business correspondence, we're sad to note, no, that some students do not know how to write proper communication. All right, proper correspondence. Okay, so after the name of the address, then you have to write include that the designation of the person. So HR manager. So for example, Miss Joanne Santos, HR manager. Make it sure that you know she's really the HR manager. She might be the VP for HR, vice president for HR, and that writing their HR manager, you have demoted the person. Eh, mas mataas ang vice president sa manager, di ba? Remember yon. Or baka kaswap, no? Ginawa mo siyang vice president where in fact she's just an HR manager. All right? So, faux pas yan on your part, no? That's a mistake on your part, no? Of course, the business name or the company's name or the organization's name or the agency's name, you have to take note of that and address, no? Okay. And then you have their salutation. Now, be formal sounding in this part. It says here, do not use dear as it may diminish the formal tone of the letter. For example, most of us, when we write a letter, we say, Dear Mr. Castro, Dear Miss Santos, o di ba? So do not write dear because again, you only write dear if you are close to the person or if you know each other, no? If there's already an association, no, or prior association with that person, that's okay. But if it's your first time, then you have to be corporately sounding in your letter or formal sounding in your letter, no? All right? So you just write Miss Santos. Okay. Then your introductory paragraph. It says here that you state how did you get to know the information about the job opening and mention your interest for the position. Now, what is the importance why you have to mention about the information of you getting, no, the position? Number one, because that's important to them. They are interested. Where did you get the information? No? Especially if they they did a massive information campaign or promotion or information dissemination about the job openings. So they would like to know whether what they did is effective. All right. Second, it's it's normal. According to, 'di ba, uso na ngayon ng mga marites, no? So yung mga chismisa ng mga marites, 'di ba sabi ni ano ganyan ganyan, 'di ba? So parang it's a normal process, it's a normal way that you have to tell that person that I got this information, I have this source, it's not chismis, it's not marites, but I got this source, no? And it's a reliable source that your company is in need of this and of that. And then your interest, no, your intention of submitting the letter right away, no, state that in the first paragraph that you're interested to apply. Kasi kung pasikot-sikot ka pa, 'di ba, sabi ko, busy masyado ang mga company, no? All right? Okay, ang mga HR. So kung pasikot-sikot ka, baka hindi na nila basahin 'yan, no? Your second paragraph, there you are going to describe your qualifications. You can point out any related experience you have, maybe from your OJT or professional work. Sell your skills and knowledge relevant to the position. So your second paragraph tells something about you. Tells something about your qualifications that match those that are required by the position and expectation of the company. You know what I mean? Do not write anything there that is not of the requirement of the position. So if it is not required, if it is not what is expected, no, from an applicant, do not include that, no, in the application letter or in the second paragraph. So when you write your second paragraph, two things, no, instill that in your mind, when you write your sample application letter, that when you sell yourself based on number one, your work experience. Since probably most of you don't have any professional experience, then what you can cite there is your OJT or your immersion experience. Okay? All right. So you cite your OJT experience, no? At least you have exposure, you have immersion, no? And second is that you cite what are your attributes, what characteristics you possess, or what soft and hard skills that you have which you think are relevant to the performance of the position. I hope you follow. I hope you understand what I'm saying. No, sometimes it's very difficult for us to absorb information and ideas when we're into this situation. No, we're into remote virtual learning session like this. But I hope that, if there are things that are not clear to you, then I'll provide some time after my talk for you to raise your questions or things that are not so clear to you. All right? Okay. So I hope that you follow because we will see whether you understand what I'm talking about with the sample application letter that you are going to submit. So that's the second paragraph. You you go back to what are your experience, what are your exposures, and second is that you try to have an assessment of yourself, an audit of yourself, take a look at what are your soft and hard skills, your characteristics which you think are important in the performance of your job, of the job. That's the last paragraph. So you're going to have three paragraphs only, no? Take note of the content of the each paragraph. The closing paragraph, you close your letter by thanking the reader and that you request for an interview, no? Okay? So you can say there that I wish to discuss my qualifications and interests for that position with you at your most convenient time. I can be reached at. So your contact number and your email address are very important, no? Even if you're going to mention them again in your resume, you may include them in your application letter because that's the most efficient way of giving feedback, no, from the employer to the applicant, especially if, like, you will be moving, there's a chance for you to move to the next stage of the screening process, no? So do not forget your contact number and your email address, no? And then your complimentary close, no? Just like in your salutation, you have to be formal, no, in your complimentary close. Do not write there very truly yours because Tagalogin mo nga ang very truly yours. Ako'y iyong buong buo, no? So, it's not formal. We Filipinos, we are fond of copying something that sometimes we do not know. We don't reflect whether it's the proper way of doing it. You know what I mean? So, you have to be formal again in your complimentary close. So, you can like say, sincerely or respectfully yours, no? Your name and then your signature. Do not forget your name and then your signature. Do not submit a letter without your signature. Okay? I hope you follow. I hope that is clear. So, that's your application letter. No, sorry. So, there's a sample letter here from our Guide 500 student in last year. Okay? So, the date is there. And then the name of the addressee. There's an emphasis. So, the name of the person is written in capital letter and in also in bold style, no? Then the position, the company, no? And then that's it. Okay. And then the first paragraph talks about the interests and where did he get the position, the information about the position. The second paragraph, if you're going to read at it, talks about the qualification, no? Talks about the competence, the ability, the experience, the skills of the applicant. And then the third talks about, the interest of the applicant to share his qualification at the most convenient time, no, of the addressee. Okay? And then the name, sincerely, the signature. All right. So I hope that you follow the example and then the instruction of how are you going to write a winning cover letter. No? Okay. Let's proceed. The other document, important document that you're going to prepare when you apply for a job is your resume. And again, you were wrong in saying that the purpose of the resume is for you to get the job. The resume is your personal brochure to market yourself. It should give your potential employer a quick view of what you can do for them. So you will not be hired based on what you have written in your resume and in your application, but you will proceed to the next stage of the application process, which is most likely the interview, if you have written an impressive resume. So the purpose of the resume is for you to get an interview, not for you to get the position. Okay? All right. So I hope that is clear. So for new graduates, just like you can list your accomplishments in school. Do not worry about not having work-related accomplishments. You can pick out those accomplishments that show responsibility, dependability, cooperative spirit, and the like. All right? For sure, your life, even if we are in a pandemic situation, no, in this situation like this, that our mobility is limited, for sure you have done so many things. No, you have done many initiative. Um, you're it seems that our life is normal, no? um the Since the pandemic, it's almost 2 years now, and for sure you have adjusted, no? That shows how agile, how resilient you are, no? Okay, so di pwede na wala kang ginawa. Kaya in fact, ang pag-eskwela ninyo, pag-pursue ninyo ng studies is already an indication that really you have adjusted to the new normal, to the situation that we are in right now. So, suggested format is this, no? You write your name, of course, your address, including your zip code, your contact number, and your email address, your summary statement, okay? It's a gist about your competence, your capability, your ability, and the skills, no? Kasi importante yan eh, no? Kung ako ang HR, hanap talaga ako ng aplikante na alam kung ano yung dapat gawin, no? Marunong siya mag-perform, okay? All right. Work experience, whether professional or OJT or apprenticeship, no? Kaya alam nyo, when I remember when I was a student like you, there was no OJT requirement, no, during our time. So yan, generational gap talaga yan. Ibig sabihin, kalayo ko na sa inyo because during our time there was no requirement for us to be sent to companies for exposure. So what I did is that I volunteered. No, I did some volunteer work. I did some volunteer work in some companies, and even in my school, in my university, no, where I graduated, I did volunteer works. No, for me to be able to expose about some stuff in the offices, just like how to use computer, how to use the telephone, how to use fax machine, basic stuff like that are already so important, so about networking with people, talking with people, and observing how they do things in an office, in an organization, that's very significant. All right, okay. So work experience or OJT experience, that's why you are very lucky because it's required in your curriculum for you to undergo an OJT. Although, for those of you who are being affected with the pandemic situation and that we don't have any OJT right now, that's one thing, no? That's one thing that, the question there is that how you were able to fill in that gap, no? The other one is job responsibilities. Okay, so if you have like experience working, whether in a professional environment or in an OJT or apprenticeship, then what are your specific tasks that were assigned to you? That's very important because they will do an initial assessment of whether your experience matches with the expectation of the position. And then your accomplishments, no? School accomplishments, community accomplishments, your accomplishments in life. Because if you have achieved something when you're still in school, when you're still at your young age, it will give an impression that you're a person who is achiever. You are different from the rest. And remember always, students, that when you're applying for a job, especially that the job is really the thing that you want to do, no, for like few months or few years, there's going to be a lot, no, who will be applying for the position. So like a dozen or two applying for the position. The thing there is that what makes you different from the rest? What is your competitive advantage that will make you notice, no, by the screening members or by the HR, for example, or by the hiring officer, and of course your education, no, your formal education. It will give an impression that the fact that you have earned a degree, you have developed the attitude, the right attitude, no, the appropriate skills. Okay, you know what I mean. So we expect that your personality, your attitude, your behavior are well honed compared to those who are not in school. All right. So compared to those who are not in school, who are not able to reach education, the way that they speak something, no, and the way that they communicate are well mannered, something like that, di ba? So that's why ito ang suggestion ko mga students, that in the social media, there's a survey that employers prefer to hire applicants who have a LinkedIn account than only Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, because LinkedIn is a social media for business and professional people. And in LinkedIn, they don't talk about things that are, very open and very free, just like what you can read in the Facebook, no? Mas kung saan naman ginagayaw-yaw sa mga tao, something like that, di ba, no? Mga bad things, ana-ana, good, no? So, di man yung kaganahan. I do not know ha sa inyo. Are you comfortable going with people who are so negative in their thinking, no? Who keep on talking negative things, no? Who are fond of making marites, doing marites that are not verified if it's true or not. You know what I mean? People who are fond of talking about the mistakes of other people, something like that, no? So I do not know if you are fun or if you like to go with people who are like that, but honestly, it's not good to be with negative people, okay? Negative-minded people, no? Pwede ka lang magsama sa mga negative sa RT-PCR na test, no? Pero yung mga negative-minded people, that's something that you should avoid, because you see what happened, no, last week. For sure you've heard about what happened to some personalities, no? Hindi lang sila katulad ninyo, no? Mga personalities, their sons and daughters of who's who in the city, in the region, no? Mga anak mayayaman, no? Nakasama sila doon sa raid na nangyari sa Pindasan, 'di ba? So, I mean, and there's a news about our officer here in the city hall who was involved also in that thing. The thing there is that you have to know who are the people around you, no? Because simple, there's an iota of truthfulness to the statement that tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are, no? Kung sino ang nasa palibot mo, of course, ano ka, nahahawa ka sa kanilang virus, 'di ba? Nahahawa ka sa kanila the way they think, no? Kung ano sila mag-isip, ano ang ginagawa nila. Hindi naman pwede na kasama mo sila tapos they're doing these things at saka sasabihin mo, ay hindi ako pwede magawa niyan, no? Hindi, 'di ba? Kasi you're one of them. Okay? So careful kayo, no? Careful kayo. It will give a good lesson to many of our young people like you. All right? So, and isa pa, usually mga ganon, yung mga ano yan eh, no? Yung mga well-off, no? Mga kuyaw, mga elite members ng elite family, because they think that they're very powerful and that they're untouchable, no? So, tayo, yung mga estudyante ng UM, karamihan sa ating students ng UM, are from the middle, no? Not so parents, our socioeconomic status are not in the higher echelon, no? Seldom that we do that, no? Seldom that you see students of UM are into that, no? Diba? Okay, so this is how you're going to write your resume, okay? All right. So remember this, that your resume should answer this key question. Number one, what can you do for me? No. So it talks about your skills, no, your ability, whether you have the right attitude, the right preparation, no, and the appropriate skills for you to perform the job. No. Where have you worked before? Why is that important? Because at least you have developed an attitude, a personality that you know how to follow orders, you know how to obey your boss, no? Follow instructions, follow the rules and policies of the organization, no? Hindi pwede na rules and caprices, whims and caprices mo lang ang i-follow kung ano ang gusto mo, no? Dapat talaga, when you're part of the big organization, then you have to submit to the rules and regulations and everything that is required from each member of the organization, then you have to follow that. Hindi pwede na sasabihin mo na, I also have ito ang gusto ko, no? O hindi siya aligned dun sa gusto ng organization. Di umalis ka, no? Hindi ka pwede doon. Hanap ka ng organization na babagay dun sa gusto mo, no? Is your experience relevant to my needs? All right. Do you have the right education and credentials? What kind of person are you? That's why bago nila kayo i-hire, i-check muna nila yung inyong social media, ano ka bang klaseng tao, ano bang mga pinagsasabi mo, no? Baka pat mas kikinsa lang imuhang ginaaway, 'di ba? Basher kaayo ka, something like that, no? Maski pagsakay sa jeep, nasuko ka, no? Kay ang imong katapad taas kayo ang buhok hangin tapos nanuksok sa imong ilong ug mata tapos gi-post dayon nimo siya sa social media, 'di ba? So lahat na lang ng feeling mo, lahat na lang na pwede mong anong ginabatsyag mo, ano no? Ano na feel mo, gina-post mo na sa social media, no? All right? Okay. Where can I contact you? So again, I emphasize the importance of including no in your resume, your contact number and your email address. So what are the common skills that are looking for from the applicants, no? I mean from by the employers, no? From the applicants. This is a survey done by the Times Higher Education, no? And number one in the list is communication skills. When I say communication skills, it's not about the ability for you to speak in English. How good is your English? But although this is one indicator also of a good communication skills, but when you say good communication skills, it's the ability of the person to speak something that is substantial. It's your ability to relate, no, yourself to the situation. It's your ability to appreciate the kind of topic that you need to say. All right, your ability to process what should be said and what should not be said. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, so that's communication skills, very important to organize your ideas, no? The second one is problem solving, no? Your ability to solve a problem. If you're into that situation, then what are you going to do, no? Okay, your responsibility, if you're given an assignment, if you're given a task, then your ability to meet the deadline, your ability to perform the job, taking into consideration your initiative in case there are things that it's not completely that you are knowledgeable about the thing, no, about the task, then your initiative to do research, to ask people, to ask your colleagues in the office to help you how to perform the task, no, your eagerness to learn, your creative thinking, people skills or social skills, no? Hindi pwede na nasa nook ka lang, wala kang friend, wala kang kakilala, 'di ba? Ay importante talaga na meron ka ding mga networks, no? Meron ka ding mga friends, all right? And ako I suggest kayo ha, young people, our students, ako I suggest do not neglect the importance, no, of networking, no, of having friends to people who are a bit mature of compared to you, no, I mean, who are more professional, who are more mature, because you will learn from them the way they think, no, the way they speak, the way they do things, all right, yan, how they succeed in life, you will learn from them. Kasi ang problema niyan, kung kayo, estudyante pa kayo, and lahat ng kakilala ninyo, pareho ninyo, di ba? I mean, ang inyo lang din nalalaman, ganun lang din, hanggang ganun. But if you try to mingle with people who are more mature, successful, and professional, if you have friends who are like them, I mean, you will also get to think, no? Get to think the way they think, no? 'Di ba? Mahawa ka sa kanilang virus, no? Kung nagiging successful sila, mahahawa ka sa kanilang virus. Paano ba sila nagiging successful? Ano ba ang ginawa nila? Ano ba ang formula nila? Ano bang ingredients nila sa buhay? Okay? Ganon, no? Kasi hindi pwede na ang kakilala nyo lang yung pareho sa inyo, mga estudyante din, or even yung mga hindi konti pa, bata pa, no, younger than you are. Hindi pwede, no? Dapat you should have a good mix of network of friends. The other one is your personal skills, your self-management, no, and your technical skills. All right. So these are the common skills that employers are looking for. These are generic skills regardless of your field of discipline. And of course, how to develop these skills while you're still in school. Are you doing some volunteer work? What are you? Do you have you participated, no, in various activities of the school? membership in various organizations, because out from there, no, you will learn a lot. Do not just be focused and so serious about complying with the things that are asked from you in your academics, but you also have to get out from your comfort zone. Okay, your social activities, no, like for example, are you member of a mountaineering club or an outdoor activities, no, you travel also for you to widen your horizon and expand your perspective and the like, no, di ba? Your hobbies, uh, volunteer work. Have you done volunteer work? No, even in your community. All right, house chores, because house chores. Why house chores is included here? Because it's your responsibility. No, I mean, um, ano ka eh, no? You're training yourself to be responsible, looking at your environment. Ang problema kasi ngayon sa mga kabataan, sa inyo, hook kayo masyado sa technology, di ba? Pagising pa lang sa umaga, katabi ninyo ang cellphone. Dapat alam nyo na ang mga pinag-uusapan sa social media. Yung alam nyo yung ganon, na dapat ang first thing na gawin ninyo is ayusin nyo muna ang inyong bed, di ba? Maglinis muna kayo, maligo muna kayo, and then saka pa, di ba? Tsaka pa kayo sa technology, no? I mean, you're spending so much time about technology, and okay sana kung if you're spending, if you're doing that to enhance your knowledge, you're reading something, you're reading social issues, you're not. You're reading marites, no? You're reading chismis. You're like stalking other people about what they post, what they did, what are they doing, di ba? I mean, come to think of this, if you're doing that, if you're spending so much time doing those stuff, what contribution they will have to you in your growth? Okay? Yun lang question ko, no? And then community work. All right. So important points to remember when applying during the pandemic, you emphasize your telecommunication skills and productivity tools, no? Like during this pandemic, for sure, we would expect that you have learned many telecommunication skills, like for example the use of Zoom, Google Meets, no, Microsoft Office. You also have GoToMeeting, no, or Slack. And then I said that it's nice if your social media account, no, the social media account that you are going to put there is LinkedIn, because LinkedIn compared to Facebook and Twitter, hindi chismis ang mga nandoon, no, but it's about business and professional topics, all right? Showcase the ability to adapt to rapid changes. So like question about how did you adapt, no, to the pandemic situation? Like how long does it take to you, no, to like adjust to the situation? Okay, so maybe you would say that right after during the pandemic, since 2020, you enroll, no, you still are connected to the world, you're still connected to your friends and to your professors, no, and that thing that makes you so much busy, no, so busy, all right, okay. So how long should a resume be? No, it's one of the questions in the Mentimeter, 2 pages, because it's a resume. It's not a curriculum vitae. A curriculum vitae may have so many number of pages, but for a resume, someone like you, no, who are novice in the world of work, we don't expect the HR, the hiring officer, don't expect so much from you. So what are the basic, no? And in most cases, you will also apply for entry level position, no? You will not apply for higher level or for middle level or managerial position. You're not going to do that. You're going to apply for an entry level position. So it's given that you should possess the basic knowledge for this position. What should I include in my personal data? In general, avoid facts that may be used to discriminate against you, just like your height, weight, and religion. No, I mean those stuff, those information should not be included in your resume, because aside from there's a data privacy law, no, um, those are not important anymore to the company. Should I put my photo in my resume? My suggestion there is not. Not because again, unless you're applying for for a model, no, a modeling career, you're into modeling career, then baka pwede, no, pero hindi naman. Ano bang connection ng how do you look sa position? Okay, later on they will require you to submit picture but not at the first stage of your application. Okay? All right, so we're done with how are you going to write your application letter and your resume. Let's proceed to the most dreaded part of your application process, which is the interview. And I said that the purpose of your resume and your application letter is for you to get an interview. If you will not be called for interview after submitting your resume, simple answer, there is something wrong in your resume and in your application letter. The way that you write them are not impressive. No, I mean, it does not impress. No, the hiring officer that would warrant you for you to proceed to the next stage of the screening process. Okay. So why I said dreaded, because it's normal, no? And in fact, um, in the component C, no, in the next session that we're going to have, some of you will get the chance to experience how it is to be like, how it's like to be interviewed, no? So you will have that, even if the our interview in Kain 500 will be done in a remote virtual platform, but at least you can experience and you will get to know, you will get an idea of some of the questions to be raised during an interview. In our office, also in the university, we're also doing career fair where we invite some HR, no, HR of different companies, no, according to your disciplines, who will conduct the actual interview. No, it's a mock interview to our students, and we will make announcement. No, we will do that, and I hope that you will participate. The thing there is that the more that you will go into that situation, into that dreaded moments, no, uh, I believe that the more that you can gain confidence. Okay? Kasi ang problema lang naman doon, paano ba talaga natin sagutin, no, yung mga interview na yan? Alright? What's the purpose of why there's a job interview, and how are we going to respond to questions? Alright? So it says here that preparing for the job interview is winning half the battle. No? If that's the Sancho Art of War principle. So if you have read the book Sancho of Art of War, then it says there that if you have prepared for the battle, you win half of it. No? Okay? If you have strategized, if you have implemented, if you have adopted some strategies on how are you going to go into it, then you win half of it. No? So just be concerned about when you're there. I mean, yun na lang ang naiwan na pagtuunan mo ng pansin. Now, why is it that so sabi natin that the purpose of the resume is for you to get an interview, but the purpose of the interview is for you to get the job. Sa Mentimeter, sabi doon, the best applicant gets the job. False, because even if you're not the best applicant, but if your interview performance is mediocre, no, you're lackluster in your performance during job interview, then even if you are the most qualified, you have the best experience, you're the most prepared to perform the job, but your interview speaks otherwise, then you will not get the job. No? That's the real situation. Probably you're thinking that the best applicant don't get the job because of backer system. That's another thing. No, it's also important that number one, it's not only what you know, but it's also whom you know. So kasama yan, no? Sabi ko sa inyo, importante yung networking skills. Kasi kung wala kang kilala who can vouch you, di ba? I mean, sino ang magsasabi na okay ka, no? So yung sinasabi nating backer, lalo na pag nasa government, that's true. Kasi nga, reference person mo yan. Sino ang magbaback up sa'yo? Okay? So importante talaga may networking skills ka. So again, bakit importante ang interview? Because there's a general impression that how candidates behave during the interview is often seen as an indicator of how they will perform. So the way that you act, the way that you respond to questions, no, are giving some ideas, no, giving a clearer picture of the potential employer of how are you going to perform the job, whether you can perform it or not. And the better prepared you are, the less nervous you will feel and the more confident you will appear. Because there's also an impression that if you're not spontaneous in your answer, kung bunga nga ka sa imuhang tubag, no, utal-utal ka, pangit ka mo tubag, you are not ready for the job. No? You are not ready for the job because you have not prepared for it. Why is it that you are not spontaneous? Why is it that you stammered, no, the more you know about the purpose of the interview and the organization, the better your response to the question. So you have to review your notes. You have to do some research about the company and about the position before getting into the interview. So what's the hiring managers are looking for during the job interview, no? Why is it that there's a job interview and how are you going to prepare yourself for that, no? One is your ability to perform the job, no? I mean, alam na alam mo ba yan, no? So istudyohan mo ang posisyon, no? And if you are skillful, if you have the right attitude, the right personality, the right skills, the appropriate skills to perform the job, then the next set of questions will be about your fitness. So about culture and personality, or in short about your attitude, no? And then your motivation and your enthusiasm, no? How motivated you are, how enthusiastic you are. That's why there are questions like, how do you see yourself in 10 years, no? Okay, what are your vision, what are your plans in the future, diba? Okay, your past accomplishments, how it can help the organization, your knowledge of the company. That's why you will be asked questions like, why do you want to work in our company, no? Why is it that you're here, why you're applying for the position, 'di ba? Alangan naman tubago ninyo nga, alangan nag-hire man mo sir, ma'am. So kaya ko nag-apply, 'di ba? So maybe what you can say is that why you're applying in our company, why you're here, what you after from the position. Maybe you can say that I have read your vision and mission statement that says that. So you memorize the vision and mission statement of the company, no? So I have read your vision and mission statement that says that, and that vision and mission statement is in nexus with my philosophy statement in life, which also states that. So you try to formulate a philosophy statement that connects, no, to the vision and mission statement of the company. So you see, ma'am, there's a perfect match. I believe that there's a perfect match between your vision and mission statement with my philosophy statement in life. That's why I believe that if I will be given the opportunity and if I will be accepted for the position, I believe that I can contribute to the furtherance of this organization. And I see myself growing in this company over the years. No? Okay? So pwede ganon. And then of course your communication skills. Yun nga sabi ko, no, your ability to communicate, no, to go deeper into the topic, no, diba? So generally what the employers are looking for in an interview, three things, no. One is that your ability to do the job. Can you do the job? So questions about your skills, your talents, your competencies, and your ability, no. And then second is that will you do the job? So it talks about, okay, meron ka nga, qualified ka nga, no? But the next question is about your interest, no? Your motivation and your right values to work. So like for example, you will be asked questions like, are you willing to work overtime? Are you willing to be assigned to other places, no? Like for example, if there's a company who come here, do a screening process, and then they would ask you that if you're from Davao and that if you're willing to be assigned to Marawi, for example, no, or to other places, will you accept that? So that has something to do about your interest and your motivation. Okay. Will you fit in the company and its culture? So it talks about your interpersonal skills, your adaptability, and your positive work attitude. Kaya nga yung interpersonal skills, no, pabalik-balik na ginasabi ko sa inyo, sino ba ang mga kakilala nyo na who are more mature and who are professional? Pag wala kayong kakilala, parang ko ako, HR, mapaisip ako doon. No? Bakit wala kang kakilala na ganun? Alright? Ano ang ginawa mo sa buong taon or sa past years para i-build up yung iyong networking? No? All right. Okay. So how are you going to structure your interview? No, this is a simple way of doing that because sometimes the thing with some of our students when they respond to questions, they go around the bush and they lose the momentum, they lose the direction, no? The clear intention and the clear direction and the clear message of their answers. So what you can do is that you step one, answer the question in a simple and straightforward way, no? So what is the question all about? You respond to that, no? And then you give supporting evidence. Di pwede na masyadong generic ang sagot mo, no? Yung parang nasa Miss World competition ka, no? Or nasa Miss International competition ka or Miss Universe, no? Hindi pwede ganon. Because sila, they're given 40 seconds to respond. Ikaw, you have enough time, no? You're given leeway to respond, no? To questions. So, dapat you have to cite. Di pwede na wala lang, no? Pag sinabi ganito, wala kang example or wala kang cite ng situation, alright? Wrap it up and restate your point. So how do you think that answer of yours is connected to the requirement of the position? Alright? Okay. Kaya excited ako because we will have a mock interview for our component C in our next session. No? So some of the job interview questions, no, that you will encounter in the future is that, well, basic is that tell me something about yourself, no. So do not be so personal or long-winded. No? You can prepare 1 to 2 minute synopsis of what qualifies you and what makes you the perfect candidate for the job. Use what you know about the job to describe your strengths, accomplishments, and experiences relevant to the position. Okay? What do you know about our company? So importante yan eh kasi 'di ba, you wanna be part of the organization. That's why it's important that it's given if I am the interviewer, if I'm the employer, then I'd like to know whether you have done prior research, no? Prior investigation about our organizations. It's just like, when guys they court a girl, no? Kung halimbawa nanligaw kayo, 'di ba? Before doing that, kailangan nyo muna alamin kung sino ba yung tao na yun, sino ba yung girl na yun, no? Tapos sa mga babae, bago kayo magsagot, di ba? For sure, alamin nyo muna kung sino siya, di ba? Dili ba to siya mangingilad or what, no? Di ba? So, ang di kay pag-abot sa dulom, sa ngit-ngit, musulirap dayon ang inyong mata, no? Mapitok-pitok inyong mata, ni makalimot na mo sa inyong intention or sa inyong pangalan, 'di ba? No? So dili pwede ingon ana, no? Mag-investigate gyud usa mo, no? Kung kinsa na sila. So same thing with company, no? No, before you apply in a particular company, then you have to do your research, no? What is this company all about? What is this organization? Ano ba ang work? Kung nasa government kayo mag-apply, then ano ba ang work ng government na ito? Ano ba ang assignment ng posisyon, 'di ba? Mag-research muna kayo. Okay. What is your greatest weakness, no? The interviewer asked this to see if you're honest and self-aware. Hindi pwede na parang Miss World sasabihin mo na if there's something in the past that you want to change, what would that be? Tapos sasagutin nyo, there's nothing that I want to change in the past because I believe that I cannot be who am I right now if it is not because of my past. I mean, it's not the best answer that you can give, all right? Because it's akin to saying that, number one, you don't recognize that we are not perfect, no? We really commit mistake. No one is perfect, all right? But the imperfections that we have, the mistakes that we have are there for us to be able to grow, for us to be able to be a better person, no? So you cite a weakness, tell the interviewer 1 or 2 weaknesses. But the thing there is that how you were able to manage that weakness or how you transform, how you change, how you shift that weakness, how that weakness makes you a better person or learn a lesson, no? Something like ako, ang weakness ko talaga is that I'm an impatient person. Sample, I don't like to be stuck in a traffic, no? If I'm stuck in a traffic, especially if it's in the morning, if I travel from my apartment coming here in the office, it will ruin my entire day. So I will not be productive. It will destroy my mood, something like that, no? So because I'm an impatient person and I don't like to be stuck in the traffic, the thing is that I wake up early, I travel early, come to my office so that, I'm good. I'm excited to do my task because I was not stuck in the traffic. I don't travel, so I have to know before traveling or before scheduling my travel, I have a travel out of the city, out of town, then I have to check what is the best time for me to travel, diba? So it makes me aware of this stuff, no? It makes me plan ahead of my schedule, something like that. All right. So do not just mention what is your weakness, but how this weakness makes you a better person, or what lesson you have learned out from it. What did you do during the pandemic? So potential employers are interested in what put you in better position, maybe through volunteering or developing new skills in an online course. Make sure you have a reason for doing what you're doing this time. Otherwise, it will just look very unfocused. So if you have done something during this pandemic, then why? Why you do that? What is the importance of that to your growth? No? Kay journey lang ba ita diri sa kalibutan, no, di ba? Let us not waste our time, no? Na alam nga naman magsigira kag tanaw ka ng mag-binge watching ka lang, Netflix binge watching ka lang, no? So dili pwede ingon ana, no, di ba? I mean, pwede an hour or two, but not the entire 24 hours or entire week na ingon ana lang yun imong buhaton, no, di ba? I mean, you have not done anything productive or something that will help you grow, di ba? I mean, ba't nandito ka pa sa world? Okay. Do you have any question? Okay. Do not leave the interview area without asking any question. It's just like attending the session today, attending the webinar today, that you guys were not asked question. I mean, how will I feel? I mean, ako, I'm the speaker. I'm the facilitator. I talk a lot. I talk like more than an hour, almost 2 hours already. And you're not going to ask any question. What impression will it give to me? It means that, you're not interested. Uh, there is no processing of information, something like that, diba? So if you're in a job interview, and when the interviewer asks you, do you have any question? No, sir. No, ma'am. Di ba? I mean, nagtaka ka why you were not hired. Because you have not asked any question. Ako, if I am an HR, I'll give so much value on this, no? That applicant should ask any question. So what question, no? If you're truly attracted to the opportunity, then this question should come naturally. You might want to know what the culture is like, more details about the day-to-day responsibilities, or what the expectations are for the role. Think about the position and decide what questions you need answered before you can take the job. Okay? Can you or have work remotely? Can you work remotely? No? Okay. So employers believe that people with remote work experience have an easier time coming into a new position. So the fact that we have experienced this pandemic situation and the new normal, that the trend now is work from home or remote work. But prior to pandemic, there are some types of or some kind of remote work, no, like those who are working in a call center or online job, no. I mean, that's a typical example. So the thing there is that maybe many companies will adapt this situation, and how fast, how agile you can adapt to this situation. Discuss your ability to thrive in a remote environment. Emphasize your ability to meet, at times exceed your goals and objectives, and explain how you did that. No? Okay, so there's a survey done by PMAP. PMAP is an organization of HR managers in the country, and they were asked what are some of the most common interview mistakes, no? Done by applicants. So these are the list. No? I'm sharing this to you so that you will avoid. No? Remember that do not do this when you're in a job interview, like answering cell phone or texting. So what you can do is that you can switch off your phone or turn your phone into a silent mode. No? dressing inappropriately, even if it's a remote virtual interview, then you have to dress properly. No? Appearing disinterested, it can be seen in the way that you react, no, in your nonverbal communication. We're going to talk about nonverbal communication in our next webinar. All right. So like your facial expression, it can be seen. No? You're appearing arrogant, appearing unprepared, chewing gum. We understand sometimes that why applicants do that. No, they chew gum because it's their way of coping the tension, no? Coping the dinosaurs and the crocodiles in their stomachs. But you're doing the obvious thing that when you chew a gum, if you're in a job interview, you're showing the obvious thing that you're not relaxed, that you're not comfortable. You follow? So don't do that. You have to manage your emotion. Not providing specific answers, no, you're too generic. There are no examples, there are no citing of situations, there are no relating of your answer to your experience or to a specific situation, no? And not asking good questions. Tinanong ka ng HR, ng interviewer, any question o wala kang tanong, di ba? Or pareho ngayon, no? Baka ang worry ko dito after na aking talk, sasabihin ko, okay, any question class, any question students, kahit 500 students, wala, no? So, wa takahibaw ng laban na di ay mo, nag-unsa na mo dira, no? Di ba? So, it only shows that hindi ko alam, baka hindi ka interested, hindi nyo na-process ang message or what, no? Dahil wala kayong question. Meron talaga question, alright? The art and science of asking question is something that you have to develop, no? Something that you have to learn, di ba? So, again, HR do a background investigation, and the best thing that they can do that is to check your social media accounts, no? At saka wag niyo i-private ang mga social media accounts niyo, kaya nga nasa social media ka, 'di ba? Para ma-expose ka, no? Pina-private mo. So you're hiding something, 'di ba? Another thing is that bakit hindi sakto ang pangalan mo na nasa social media? Baka may problema ka, no? Baka may tinatago ka, no? Something like that. I mean, it will give us so many questions, 'di ba? So be ready for that. One is writing negative posts, no? So please don't do that, no? Kung kung lalo na ngayon, no, initan sa mga politics, 'di ba? Kung nasa iba-ibang panig ka ng political spectrum, just say something nice about your candidates, no? But as much as possible, avoid saying something bad to other candidates, all right? Okay. Second is that ungrammatical posts or use of derogatory language, no? So, yung mga language mo, yung mga disrespectful na language mo, something like that, I mean, it reflects about who you are. So, it should not be posted in your social media. If ganito lang kasimple yon, students, no? If pag-isipan mo, ito bang isusulat ko will paint a bad picture about me and to other person, to other people, 'di ba? Not only to myself but to other people. Or if this post will think not something good about me, no, by other people, then don't do that. Yun lang ang test doon, no? So, ibig sabihin, kung ipopost ko ito, magiging pangit ba ang tingin ng tao sa akin, no? Or makapasakit ba ako sa ibang tao? Will it hurt other people? Will it also paint bad picture to other people? Then don't do that. Ganun lang kasimple yun, no? Because if you're doing that, anything that you're going to post in your social media, again, is a reflection of who you are. Simple, no? Kung sino ka, kung gusto ko kilalanin sino ka, tingnan ko lang ang social media mo. Anong pinopost mo? Alright? Third is that, make your posts all about you. This is a social media account, no? I understand that that is your own account, but everything that you post there is all about you, your OOTD, no, your food porn, all your travels, all the stuff that you have done, your TikTok, you know, I mean, diba? Again, nasa ano ka na, professional realm ka na dapat, no? So iba ka na dapat mag-isip, no? Limit as much as possible your posts, especially posts about you, about your escapade, about your, what is the intention of you doing that? Diba? For other people to know that you are like this and you are like that, diba? It's nice that, so anong pwede mo i-post, no? I mean, good mix, no? You can also do that. I'm not saying that wag mo i-post yung mga travel mo, yung mga magagandang pwede mo i-post about you. Pero dapat may good mix ka, no? Kung may social issue, then talk about that social issue. Kasi professional ka nga eh, no? 'Di ba? If you have read a book, then say something about that book, no? If you have watched a series or a movie, then you can post a review about that movie, 'di ba? So at least makabuluhan, no? Something that's something that's relevant, something that's professional, no? You have posted something that's professional. Yes, Rosel, you are raising your hand, Rosel Zamora. What is it? Or you can type your concern, Rosel. Well, I have to end na. I think this is the last slide that I have, no? So those are the things that you need to prepare, no, for your CAID 500. Especially, you will be required to submit sample application letter and resume. Okay, so I think that's all for my talk. But I will stay for your question. I will entertain any question. I think Rosel is raising her hand. Accidentally press it. Sorry po. Ayan. So we have two participants. We have Anina. Yes, Anina, what is your question? You can unmute
Hello,
now.
sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Madunggan ko, sir. Good morning, amayng buntag.
Yes.
Hello. Ay,
Yes, we can hear you.
okay, sir. I have a question, sir. This is commonly happen outside that some of the people or applicants, they think that resume and application letter are just the same. What are their main differences and why some companies only required or ask for resume than application letter, and some ask application letter than resume, and why some applicants, if they asked by the company to have application letter, but they submitted or created resume instead of application letter.
Uh, I do not know if the presentation is not clear, no, to everybody. So you see that application letter is that's why you call it cover letter, because when you submit documents, for example, when you're in a company, when you're working somewhere, and when you submit documents, there's an endorsement letter. There's always a cover letter that to so and so attached are the following. These are the documents, no, that you can find in this folder. For example, what are the inclusion in these documents, and this is what for. What is the intention of these documents? No, the resume is again all about you. No, so the specifics, the details of your qualifications, and the skills that you may present, no, that you may offer to the company, should be stated in the resume. I also mentioned that the application letter will help the reader or the hiring officer justify whether to read further your other documents or schedule you for an interview that you can write well. Sa resume kasi, 'di ba, it's not written in sentence form, in paragraph form. It's written in bullet form, no, in specific form, because you're going to highlight the skills, no, the specific things that I have shown to you, no, I have shared to you. All right? So there are many differences. You really have to submit both resume and application letter. Okay? All right. By the way, when you ask questions, please introduce yourself and then your course, no? All right. I hope that I did answer your question. Sige.
All right, let's have another student, sir. Rosel Zamora.
Siya ata yung kanina nag-raise na mali daw niya, na pindot niya.
Okay. How about Donna Belia?
Hello, good morning, sir. I am Donna Bella P. Corias from the AB English Language. I am a fourth year student. I just want to know, sir, when in an interview session, what to do in order to not appear arrogant with the interviewer. Do you have some tips or some words of wisdom, sir, regards to this question?
Okay, you have to remember always that you have to be polite and you have to be respectful in your manner of answers, no, in your response. All right. Being arrogant is too boastful by saying something that you don't support any example, no. So like for example, yung sabi ko nga kanina that what is your weakness, and that you're saying that, oh, I don't have any weakness because I believe that uh, I have reached this far in my career and in my journey in this world because everything happens so perfectly. 'Di ba? Yung mga ganun na mga sagot. So, you're the kind of person that you don't recognize that there's always a mistake. We commit mistake, no? And that you have not learned from that mistake. So you think that everything happens perfectly. So that's one, no? It's also a test of whether you're arrogant or whether you are polite and humble person, no. So the tone of your voice also, no, that's one thing that you have to observe, no, to be careful with, no. So you have to adjust the tone of your voice at least a lower level compared to the tone of the interviewer, no. Okay, all right. Yeah. Sige. Did I answer your question, Donna? Okay.
Right. So thank you so much, Donna, for that question. Now let's have another one, sir. Adrian Saturinas is raising his hand.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi, sir. Good morning po. I would like to ask, sir, for instance, you already have a part-time job.
Adrian is accountancy. You forgot.
Sorry, sir. So I am Adrian T. Satorinas, and I am currently a fourth year Bachelor of Science in Management Accounting student. So my question goes like this, sir. For instance, you already have a part-time job and you are applying for an additional job since it does not conflict the schedule of your other priorities. Is it wise not to disclose your current part-time job, thinking that the company is looking for fully committed applicants, but you know to yourself that you can perform or meet the standards required?
Okay, ito lang masasabi ko sa inyo ha, that you have to be transparent in your application. So things like that, you have to inform the potential employer or the organization of your status at the moment. Because if something happens in the future when they will hire you, for example, at least they are knowledgeable, no? They are aware of your situation. That's number one. Number two is that you you can justify that. So if you think that you can perform, no, the job, even if you have other job, as long as there's no conflict of interest, you know what I mean. If you're applying for one school and you're working in a school and then you're applying for another school, make it sure that there's no conflict of interest there. After all, the business is the same. All right. If you are working in a telecommunication company, and we know how stiff the competition, no, of these three major telecommunication companies that we have, and then you think that you can still perform the job if you're going to apply for another telecommunication company. I mean, it's the conflict of interest there is very apparent. So that's one thing that you have to lay down at the start of your application or during your interview. So you have to be transparent, you have to be honest, no? Okay? You're taking the risk of doing that. The chances of you being hired actually is not that high compared to if you're full-time, because especially if the company is looking for a full-time worker or employee, no? So you're taking the risk, but probably there is something there in you that you know, companies should look at you, no? I mean, with your experience, your responsibility, you have good exposure, something like that. But again, let me remind you of the conflict of interests. Okay, Adrian? All right.
All right, thank you so much, Adrian. I will have another person, sir, to ask question. Michael Angelo, you may unmute yourself.
Michael, unmute yourself. Unmute
Hello,
your
hello,
mic.
sir.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Michael Angeles. I'm a fourth year political science student, code 3225. My question, sir, is what would be the distinction between an employee's private life and his or her professional work? Like, is there a depth or a line that the employer would want to know about an employee's private life, or does the employer want to know everything, sir?
Can you cite an example of that question?
Ano lang siya sir, general question lang siya. Uh, like, the discussion said sir, that the, um, uh, parang when, for example, social media sir, um, we, an employee is tasked to, or tasked to, ano sir, be, be, kanang tarong sa iyang social media platforms, diba? Does it, ano sir, yeah, like, kanang when it comes to the ano sir ba, private life, like the employer does want to know everything about you, or is it just simply the social media sphere, sir?
Well,
Siguro, sir,
actually,
in
we
terms
as
of
human being,
his belief siguro, mga ganon. Or
okay,
activities
ganito
beyond
kasi
work.
yan. Mhm. Okay, ganito kasi yan, no? One is that with regards to your private information, well, companies, whether private or government, they're aware of the data privacy law. So there are information that they should not get, like uh, other organizations. In fact, they're careful about getting specific information about you, including, your parents, personal background, and the like. So what is important is that information that are related to your job. So with regards to your protection, everybody is protected by law when it comes to data privacy. So maybe if you're applying for a big organization, no, a big organization that really adheres to government rules and regulations, they're careful about getting information and looking at the information of the employer, something that can be used against you, no, in the future. Second is that um, it's since it's a social media, and if I am an HR, and if I would like to know better, go deeper of who you are, especially when it comes to something about your beliefs, something about how you think, your attitude and the like. Uh, Social media is one platform, one way of looking into it. It may not, it may not be apparently used against you, but hindi mo din masabi na hindi din nila magamit yon against you. I hope you get my point, no? So that's why ang suggestion ko is that careful na lang tayo, no? Hindi natin pwede ibulatlat ang sarili natin sa public because careful tayo dahil pwede kasi tayo din i-judge ng ibang tao dahil sa ginawa natin. Unless we are given the opportunity na, ganun pala yon, no? Pwede pala o hindi, di ba? I hope you get my point, Michael. So that's why my suggestion is that we have to be wary. We have to be careful in everything that we post in the social media. Oo. Kasi lalo na nasa application stage ka pa and no one can prevent your potential employer or them kasi mag-i-establish ka pa ng connection with them. So kung sa tingin nila dahil nakita nila sa social media na ganun ka mag-isip, ganun ang attitude mo, pwede sana kung mabigyan ka ng chance during the interview. I understand kung nasa political science department ka, no? Or nasa philosophy. Ang na-observe ko itong mga philosophy students sa political science. That's one thing, that's why we don't offer philosophy in the university because minsan, no, maintindihan ko yon dahil nung estudyante ako, member ako ng College Editors Guild of Philippines. Aktivista ako, Michael Angelo. So, maintindihan ko yung mga nasa political science, yung sa mga philosophy, kasi dumaan ako sa ganyang stage. No? Pero nung nag-graduate ako, na iba ang perspective ko, nag-mature ako. No? So, it's better that we have to keep that to ourselves. Because we cannot also dictate how they should think of us. All right, Michael, I hope you get my point. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right. Another student, sir. I think it's Herabel.
Yes, sir. Hello po. I am Harabel Malubay po from the City Department, BS Ed English. And now my question, sir, this is about sa interview. When the interviewer asked you the question na, where do you see yourself from now? I just want to ask if what would be the appropriate response to that question? So, okay, I have tried I have tried mag-answer og interview like that sa call center siya na job. And he asked me, where do I see myself from 5 years from now? And I think my response is not that on point or appropriate. And I just want to know if
How did
you
you
have
say?
insights.
Why did you say that it's not appropriate?
Because
Do you
nag-say siya
mind sharing
kaganina
your
like
answer?
mga insights nimo ganina sir sa unsa ang i-response sa interview, and nag-look back ko sa akong experience like hala murag feel na ko murag mali lagi ta ako ang gitubag. Kanang ang realizations nag-come in na siya sir. So I just want to know if what would be the appropriate response to that question. So in the future, if ma-ask man ko again, I know kung unsa akong i-respond. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because the purpose why you are there is for professional and career reason, diba? So personal reason, let's reserve that for a separate venue. Simple lang, ganun lang kasimple yun. No? So any questions, even not something about how do you see yourself. Other questions, the intention is professional and career. It's job related. So kung tanungin ka about how do you see yourself in the next few years or in 5 years or in 10 years, ang magiging sagot ko doon kung ako is that something about my career. How will I grow? No? How do I want to grow for myself? Like, you know, if I'm not yet done with my bachelor's degree, then I should continue pursuing my bachelor's degree because I really have an ambition to be a teacher someday, to be an engineer someday, or, diba? Or if you're already a graduate of a bachelor's degree, then maybe what you can do is that you want to pursue a master's degree, no? And if you will be given the opportunity, so you connect your ambition, your vision, no, of yourself to the organization because that's why you are there after all, diba? Because the next question there is that if you have that vision and if you have that intention, picture of you in the future, then where are we in that vision? You follow? So for example, sasabihin mo, I want to pursue masters for the next few years, and if I will be given the opportunity to work in your company, having a master's degree would probably help me perform the task, no, given to me by the organization, especially improving the efficiency and the effectiveness of the performance of my function, diba? So you connect. If you're working in the call center, then what are the attributes and the important thing that, you know, in call centers are needing from the labor force, for example, diba? So sales, for example, no, kung Tama ba ako? I mean, I do not know. I'm not so familiar with call center. So if you're assigned in a call center and if you're into sales and marketing, and if you don't have so much background about sales and marketing, then what you can do probably is that you can enroll, no? You can take short-term classes, no? Or better exposures in sales and marketing because that's how you think you can help the organization if you will be given the chance. Of course, kailangan mo muna i-consider yun kaya kung hindi ka pala ma-hire, di ba? O di, dapat ibang priority ka naman. But your priority will be based, for example, in the chance that the company will give to you. You follow? You understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. Hindi pwede magsabi ka na ano na, well, I see myself 5 years from now having a family of my own and with 2 kids, di ba? I mean, that's so personal. Where are we in the picture? We're not. Okay? I've seen Joshua. Joshua is here.
Yes, sir. So next to ask questions, sir, is Bruma Joshua.
Hi,
Hi,
Josh.
hi sir, good morning.
We need to see your face, Josh.
Sorry, hindi akong internet, sir. Ayos, sir ba? Anyways, I am Joshua Bruma po from College of Teachers Education, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Science. So my question, sir, is, can we still highlight our experiences from your previous employment, even if they are unrelated to the present position for which I am applying?
You highlight something which you think are relevant. For example, meeting deadlines. What you have learned from there? For sure, there are, no? Even if it's not something about hard skills, no? For sure, there are soft skills that you have learned. The value of following orders, the value of time management, diba? The value of not procrastinating because there are deadlines here and there. There are so many pressures. You know what I mean? So if you think that the hard skills are not relevant, no, but for sure there are soft skills, diba? The value of networking, the value of people skills, the value of what else, diba? For sure there are. So you highlight those skills, particularly soft skills, if there are no hard skills that are related to your previous position, to the present job that you are applying, no? So there are for sure. Like for example ako, I had experience before working in the university. Ang work experience ko was working in a printing press and in an insurance company, no? So anong importante doon? Sa printing press is that, ay grabe, no? Burning the midnight oil. Especially if you have to beat the deadline. Yearbook ang exposure ko no, no? Magtahi, tapos magbutang mi og kanang mga glue and all, no? Di ba? So we're given deadline because kailangan na ma-release, no? So we have to work till the wee hours. So I'm used to that, working during the wee hours of the nights, no? Meeting deadlines and the like, all right? After my work in the printing press, ang isang work ko is all about insurance, no? So meeting with people, convincing them that this one is better for them. So anong nade-develop ko doon? Yung communication skills, 'di ba? Yung ability to convince people that this one is good for you. So nag-apply ako ng teaching, no? Mag-teach sa college. So paano mo yun ngayon ma-relate, 'di ba? So discipline ka because working of the wee hours. So pag kailangan mo i-submit ang mga deadlines, compute ang mga grades, ganito, ganyan, kaya mo yan, di ba? Of course, your communication skill was able to develop when you're working in an insurance company. So there are skills probably. So you highlight on those. All right? Joshua, did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Right. Daghan na nag-raise, garapon mo ba? Murag duha ra og tato.
Sir, maybe we could give chance those students no here sa chat, no, because
Okay.
they are also you have also questions. So Irvin
Okay.
Detalia, fourth year
Oh,
BSA
Irvin.
student.
I know Irvin. Hi,
Yeah,
Irvin. Dami ko
because of poor
makilala dito.
connection.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so here's your question, sir. No, you have mentioned a while ago daw that there were times wherein mawalag momentum ang applicant during the interview. So your question, will there be a chance, no, or what are those strategies to kumbaga redeem that momentum sa applicant so that the applicant can be considered no, being hired by the HR.
Anong ibig sabihin mo nan, Ervin, nawala ang momentum nimo, no, napalong ka, o
No
na,
ba?
na-lobat? Charge
Oh.
lang, no, di ba? O, charge. Ma'am, can I be excused? Like, I want to drink some water. O, di ba? Like, I'm experiencing a dry throat right now. I mean, I do not know, Ervin, what you are referring to, but, that's why I told you that you have to be prepared before going to an interview, no? If you need to drink a lot of water, then do that before going there. You sleep. You should have a good night's sleep before the day of the interview so that you are fully recharged. Just like, if you're going to use your laptop or your cell phone before doing into an extreme, no, into intense usage, then you have to charge that, no? Ensure that is fully charged. So ganun lang, no? So dapat mabilis din kayo mag-isip, no? Di tulog-tulog sa kangkungan, right? Okay, yun lang talaga masabi ko. Nasa inyo yan kung paano ninyo bawiin yun, no? Okay.
Another
Sige, Ben.
question, sir, from Janice Porta, a BS Ed student. Science. Is it okay to ask how much is the salary after the job interview?
Do not ask that during the interview. It's your responsibility, no? Yeah, it's your privilege to know how much you're going to receive, but it's also your responsibility to know that either before or after the interview. I suggest that do that before the interview. If you think that it's okay for you if you will be hired, if the pay and the benefits are okay, then you proceed to the interview. But if you think that it's not, then maybe that's something that will hold you off, no, from pursuing the job interview. All right. But it's going to be another thing if the interviewer will ask you about the pay, no, like how much you want to receive if you will be accepted for the job. So that's another story. But you asking that, don't do that during the interview. It will give an impression that you're not doing your research, no, you're not doing your task that you have to do your advanced research about how much you should receive. Okay, because these are supposed to be transparent, these are supposed to be known to the applicants prior to the application. Okay, bench.
Ito naman, sir, from Darilyn Lukog with regards to like a fresh graduate siya, no work experience, but what she can take pride lang is her accomplishment during mga school achievements niya. So is it still wise to include those school accomplishments in your resume?
Perfect. You can do that. No, in fact, I mentioned that. What you can include in your resume is that something related to your school experience. No, and that's why compared to someone who is an applicant who is just a plain student and an applicant who also have exposures, no, extracurricular activities and the like in school, then there's going to be preference of the second applicant, no? Those with exposures in schools, even if you don't have professional experience. For sure, when you apply for a job, as I already mentioned, you're going to apply for an entry-level position, di ba? Di naman kayo mag-apply dun sa mga second grade, third grade, or fourth grade. Doon naman kayo mag-apply sa level 1, no? Yung entry position, di ba? So, hindi naman kailangan ng masyadong mataas na exposure yon. Okay? Alright. So, ang tanong doon is that ano yung mga skills na na-develop mo which you think are related to the performance of the position. So, kung meron kang extracurricular activities, ano yon? So, like for example, nung nag-apply ako sa hindi ako education graduate. Nag-apply ako prior to my graduation in college. No? Come to think of that, no? So, in-interview ako bago ng aking graduation. Ibig sabihin, in-interview ako for teaching position when I was still a student. But again, during the time when the HR did an interview for me, she browsed through my resume and she found out that, when during my student stint, estudyante pa ako, I have participated in many competitions, academic competitions. In fact, I was already top as a speaker, no, as a trainer for this and for that, all right? So sabi nila, okay, this is good for for a faculty who have better exposure, because we also encourage our students to get involved in extracurricular activities. And since you have experience, then you can help our students do that. You know what I mean? Oh, so you just connect. No? You just connect what you have, experience, what you have, your exposures to the requirement of the position. Is your ability to reflect, no? Ano ba ito? Ano bang kailangan dito, no? Ano bang requirement ng position? At ano ba ang meron ako, no? It's about mix and match. You know what I mean? Okay.
So ito naman kay Michael, sir, is in terms of duration ng work experience. Ano ba daw yung dapat na ilagay ng mga parang work experience? Okay lang ba yung lasted lang for months, or dapat yung talagang lasted for years na mga work experience ang ilagay sa resume?
Okay, ang importante doon yung last 2 years mo. So ano ang experience mo ng last 2 years? Recent kasi ang importante. Ang problema noon, kung may experience ka ng 1 year ago and idle ka in recent times, no, in recent months, then that's something that you have to defend. It will open doors for questioning. You know what I mean? Like for example, work ka ng February 2020 hanggang August 2020. September until now, wala ka work. So ano ngayon? Bakit ganon? So baka ano ka, nag-concentrate ka sa schooling mo or sa study mo. That's a very good answer. Okay? Pero kung hindi ka, ang tawag nito, no? Idle ka, halimbawa graduate ka na, no? And then after graduation, nag-work ka, and then for a few months or few years, idle ka, wala kang work. So, question yun. It will open door for questions. So, dapat pinaka-recent. And usually, 2 years ang importante. Pareho ba ng reference, no? 5 years. Kasi importante doon, anong ginagawa mo? Just recent. Yung most recent na mga pinagagawa mo. Because fresh pa yun sa iyo. Alright? Okay. So, 2 years. Lahat ng nasama ng 2 years, lahat ng meron ka for 2 years, involve mo, include mo. Yes, Benj.
So sir, how can they avoid those stage fright during the final interview?
Maalala ko noon, kung meron akong mga competitions, na stage competitions, no? Tense man talaga yan, no? Tapos sabi nung teacher ko, maalala ko, lagay ka ng coins sa ano mo, sa shoes. Walang explanation, basta maglagay lang. No? So, ni-research ko, anong connection nun? Hindi ko alam, Adrian, no, kung totoo ba yan. But merong explanation na yung metal pala will absorb something. No? So, it may not totally reduce or take out the feeling of being so tense. No? The butterflies, crocodiles, and dinosaurs in your stomach. But I still believe that it will at least reduce, no? Limit the tension that you have, all right? Another thing is that ang practice ko, meron talaga ako, I have to dress well. I have to look good, you know? So, meron akong attire na ito, if I'm going to face in an interview, whether it's a immigration interview, if I travel, no, immigration interview, natitense din ako doon, no? So because if you're in other country, lalo na kung Pilipino ka, meron silang ganyang mga impression na what are you going to do in my country, especially if you travel in Europe, you know, countries who are very rich, something like that. So natitense din ako, so I have to dress well. Alam mo yon, kasi meron tayong tinatawag na executive presence, di ba? Just by merely look, iba yung feeling na yon. And kung ako, if I see myself in the mirror, that I have that executive presence, it can bolster my confidence. Yeah. So, ano yan eh, intrinsic yan sa iyo, no? Intrinsic yan sa iyo. So, that's why I said, students, that I want that you undergo mock interview as many as you can. Because the more that you experience that, the more that you can gain confidence, no? Normal talaga yan, natitense kayo in a job interview. Pero the more that you go through that process, the more kayo makadevelop ng confidence. Sisi na lang yan sa inyo. Okay. Pareho ni Adrian. So, Diyos ko si Adrian, well-experienced. Yeah, well-exposed na yan si Adrian. Kahit saan-saan na yan siya. International pa ang level niya, no? nagsasalita siya sa mga international gatherings. So even if Adrian is still a student, he is well exposed. Invited siya sa iba't ibang university. Meron pa nga siya invitation sa isang country, sa isang university in other country, no? And kung wala na yung pandemic, tama ako Adrian, di ba? You're going to travel in
Yes, sir.
to that university and that country. So, yung mga ganon, no, talagang kung nasa school pa kayo, take that opportunity, no? I mean, hanap kayo wag lang kayo nasa lungga, sige, kal ng inyong mga social media, ng inyong mga phone. Will not help you, no? Diba? So, gawa kayo ng paraan. Pag may announcement sa na we're looking for students na pwede magganito o sa CAED 500, maraming pwedeng gawin ninyo. Mag-volunteer kayo doon para sa interview, may activity, di ba? So yung mga ganun para ma-develop yung inyong confidence. Sige, siguro mga last 3 questions.
Sige, sir. So, ito naman kay Angel, sir, BS Psychology student. Tips daw on a phone call interview. And then, if hindi parang, if you cannot, parang hindi mo maano yung phone call, ano yung dapat gawin? If you have not answered the call, parang ganun. So, what are the things that you're going to do?
Pag hindi mo na masagot ang tanong tapos nahihirapan ka, I know signal. I mean, same, no? Same. The most important thing there in fact, mas advantageous pa nga yun, di ba? Kasi, hindi ka makita how you look. Wala yung mga non-verbal communication, di ba? So, dapat the more ka na confident magsagot. Ang importante talaga doon yung content, no, 'di ba? Yung laman ng sagot mo. So, binigyan ko na kayo bakit may interview na gano'n dahil they want to test your ability, no? All right? So, yun lang. At saka kung telephone interview 'yan or online interview 'yan, you get given schedule. So, dapat you have to ensure that you have a good connection, merong magandang connection. So, mag-move ka muna, mag-transfer ka muna sa area na maganda ang connection ng isang location, na malakas ang location. Alam mo yun, because if you're not doing that, tapos sasabihin mo, mahina ang connection, ay wala ka nag-prepare, dili ka interesado, wala ka nag-exert of effort. Diba? So if you're scheduled for a telephone interview, for a phone interview, yung mga ganito, hanap ka ng magandang location. Hintay ka doon, magtiyaga ka maghintay. Diba? Di kay naputol ang connection, wala, hinay, diba?
All right, so let's have Francis Barbosa. We can unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me, po?
Yes, you are clearly heard.
So, I am Francis Barbosa. I am a communication student. I am on my 4th year, and I would just like to ask the question if it's acceptable to establish boundaries in the workplace as early as the first interview po.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Like, say I am unable to, or I'm not available to work during or I'm not able to work overtime, or like I'm not able to work during Saturday or Sunday. Is it possible, or is it acceptable to open this types of conversation during the first interviews po?
Kung ganyan, then do not expect that you will be hired also. Because again, what employers are looking for is also flexibility from the applicants. You know what I mean? You're not the only applicant there. So if you're not available for these days and that you learn at once before applying that there's sometimes need, no, for employees or for staff to report on these days or wee hours, work of the wee hours, then the possibility of you being considered for the position will be nil. You know what I mean? So kung ako ang HR, why will I consider you? There are other applicants who are willing to do that. So let's go back to one criteria that I mentioned is something about motivation. The willingness of the applicant to be flexible in the working environment and in the time, in the working days. Diba? So, alamin mo kung kailangan mag-work ng Saturday and Sunday at saka hindi ka pwede ng Saturday and Sunday, decision mo na at that stage kung mag-pursue ka. So, you may look probably at other companies that they don't require their employees to work Saturday and Sunday. You know what I mean? So, ganun lang yun, no? Okay? Remember, ito ha,
Thank you.
tandaan ninyo, kahit 500 students, that it's demand and supply of labor. Diba? So, the demand comes from the company. You're the supply there. Okay? So, they they are the most important party in the job application process. So we have to satisfy their needs and their expectations, their requirements. No? It's not the other way around. You follow that? So if you think that, you know, your expectations and your personality do not match with the requirements also and expectations of the company, so why pursue? So at the early stage, alamin mo na yan, no? 'Di ba? I-explore mo na yan, i-research mo na yan. Sige.
All right. Thank you so much, Francis. Last question na, sir, no?
Sige,
Let's
maybe
have
we can expand kung meron pa.
Jessa Ann Marie. You may unmute yourself, Jessa, for your question.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
Problema sa connection mo,
You have
Jessa.
problem ata, Jess? Maybe you
Intermittent
can
ang
type na lang your question on the chat box. Ito, sir, from Patrick Guerra Agorea. How can someone
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
mura siya ka ng horror nga movie.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Mura siya horror nga movie, Jessa.
Okay, so ito, sir, how can someone who needs to stay in same place because of responsibilities respond when the employer asks about relocation plans if hired?
Again, you have to be transparent at the start, no? That you have concern with regards to moving to another place. Again, it has something to do about ability, ang tawag nito, no? Availability, willingness, no? Motivation also. So if you have baggages, not baggages, but if you have concern, if you have responsibility also with your family that you cannot be moved to other places, then you have to say that at the early stage of your application. But again, do not expect that you will be considered for the position, because what again the company is looking for is flexibility, no? 'Di ba? You're not the only person applying for the position. So again, do not expect that you will be prioritized for the job. No? So it's either that you have to describe, explain that to your family that, you need to explore, there are situations that sometimes you have to do this and you have to do that. And it's all about your career, no? And, our family should be supportive of our career endeavor. Diba? So you have to be transparent. You have to tell the interviewer that possibility of you moving or mobility or traveling to other places or be assigned to other places. I don't think that that's possible right now, ma'am, because of my other responsibility in my family. So I have to be honest with you. Well, if they see that your qualification is very strong, there's something in you that other candidates do not possess, they may, for example, consider you, give you a special consideration that, okay, sige, i-hire natin siya. Ang problema lang nito is that hindi talaga siya pwede i-assign. So, hire natin siya, bigyan natin siya ng work na dito lang talaga siya mag-stay, no? Because we need his or her expertise. Na yung ibang applicants wala. Siya lang talaga ang merong ganito. Ganun ka-special, no? So pwede. Pero kung hindi, walang something that gives you competitive edge over the other applicants, do not expect that you will be considered, no? Because there are other applicants. All right? So you have to resolve that issue muna sa sarili mo at saka sa family mo. So
Another question,
saan
sir.
na yung saan na yung parang horror kanina? Wala.
Si Jessa. Jessa, are you
Yes.
still here?
Type ka na
Mahina
sa
lang signal. Ito, sir, si Princess. She would like to ask in regards to how can she answer the question, why should not we hire you? It's like parang negative na, ay parang expected is how should we hire you? Pero ang mga questions is parang negative. So how can they answer that kind of question?
Why should not we hire you?
Oo.
Well, because you have seen in me that I'm so novice, I'm inexperienced, no? Kulang ako sa experience probably, kulang ako sa exposure for the position. But, wag mo siya i-end na gano'n, no? Dapat may counter attack ka, counter response ka, no? Huwag ka sumuko agad. Di basta-basta sumuko, no? So ngayon, sabihin mo kung anong meron ka, no? Na kaya dapat masabi mo lang yan kung pinag-aralan mo ang posisyon. Ako, just like Adrian, I also have experience exchange program, no? Pero professional program yun, no? So, ang tanong sa akin is that why we should hire you, why we should consider you for the exchange program to be sent to the United States, no? Kasi ang travel nun sa US. Pinag-aralan ko na dapat ang isa sa kailangan nila is someone na pwede kasi bago ka mag-alis, kasi Rotary sponsored by Rotary, no? So kailangan yung mga promotional materials, no? Kailangan marunong ka sa mga marketing, kailangan engage ka sa social media, sa media, no, sa mga television network kasi may mga interview before ka mag-alis ng ganon. So ako, ang exposure ko sa UM is something about marketing and promotions. Ang mga aplikante, may mga judge, may mga city councilors, di ba? May isa may-ari ng school, may dalawang environmentalists. You cannot expect them na gagawa sila ng ganun kasi masyadong mataas na ang kanilang achievements. Ako, you can ask me, no, to prepare a promo materials, a promo video, because kailangan nga yon bago at saka nandun ka na sa US, kailangan yon. Wala among the pool of applicants who have that knowledge. Kasi bago kami in-interview, nag-tea muna ako with other applicants, no? Kinausap ko muna sila, you're also applying for this. Ano ang background mo? Chismosa ako, marites ako masyado. No?
Is
Anong
friendship
background?
din, sir, dapat.
Oo, Rabel ko. Anong background mo? Ganun ba? Kayo, anong background mo? Uy, judge, grabe. Ay, wala naman dyan ko ani, kaya na-agoy judge nga aplikante. Ay, sir, kamusta ho? Anong background mo, sir? Para wag yung kanang ako ang interviewer. Counselor siya sa isang lugar. Ay, kakuya, counselor sa isang lugar. Napaisa dito, tagya siya eskwelahan, di ba? So, ako'y bubuwit na empleyado lamang ng UM. So, gi-emphasize ko talaga yun during the interview that, one thing that I believe you are needing from a member of the exchange team is that someone who is knowledgeable in this area. And I can tell you that I have this background in the institution where I am connected right now. Di ba? So, kung tinanong ka bakit hindi ka ma-hire, meron ka idea bakit? Hindi. Kulang ka sa ganito. Pero meron kang countermeasure doon. Diba na? But I'd like to assure you that I have this better experience. I have this good years or good exposure when it comes to this. And I believe that this is also the requirement of the position. No? And my initial conversation with other applicants, this is something that they lack. No? And I'm bringing fresh ideas, no, to the organization. I'm someone, because I'm excited, I'm novice in this kind of position, so that I look up to you, to my mentors, no, to my supervisors in the future. So you can assign me multiple tasks, something like that. No? So you have to counteract that. mga question ninyo, mga pang Miss World na. Diba? Nakaka-challenge na rin minsan. So
Challenge.
exciting. O, diba?
Siguro madami kasi kayo ngayon, sir, na mga nasa CAED. Imagine 400 plus tayo dito ngayon.
Yeah, I think this is one of the KAID 500 na
Most
malaki
number of
ang
participants.
participants. No? And maganda din yan because masyado kayong interested, you raise questions, and that's nice. No? That's nice. Kayo kaya ang tanungin ko sa mga questions ninyo.
Maybe on the next
Sige lang,
session,
kasi
sir.
next session, yan ang gawin
Yeah.
natin. Maganda yan kasi matrain kayo. Alright?
I think wala na ata, sir. Wala nang questions.
Very good. Makarest na rin ako.
Sir, pwede po mga sa copy sa slides na gi-present ninyo ganina, sir?
With regards to the information, meron naman sa LMS, no, we have different activities naman na wherein those topics that was delivered by Sir Ray, ano naman sa tawag nito, sa scene.
Sa LMS,
Sa scene.
upload.
Nasa
If
sa
they
scene.
upload daw ang PowerPoint, gusto niya maghingi. So, i-upload natin sa LMS.
Alright, sige, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
So I think that's it. No, can we have a virtual round of applause for our speaker this morning, Dr. Ray Castro. All right. So we have now Sir Marvin to give us information, no, other announcement, no, or reminders for KAED 500. Okay. All right. So reminders for KAED 500 Component B class meeting schedule will be November 15 to 19, 2021. So depende na yan sa coach ninyo. So you just visit your Blackboard LMS or coordinate with your Component PNC coach for your schedule. So you may add your coaches sa mga group chats ninyo so that you will be updated of the mga activities that you'll be doing for Component B and C. Ano pa, sir? And Component C seminar schedule will be on November 24, 2021. So the link for the seminar ibibigay lang sa inyo through LMS. So you just have to choose whether morning kayo na session or afternoon. So isang session lang for kung saan lang kayo available. It's either in the morning or in the afternoon. So please be reminded also that during the during the Component C seminar, topics that will be discussed will be about verbal and nonverbal communication, and also you will have a mock interview during that time. So grab the opportunity to be called or volunteer to be interviewed by Dr. Ray Castro. Ayan. So random yan siya na mock interview. And yun. Also, VXI Career Talk Seminar scheduled this November 29, 2021. So you just have to visit the Blackboard LMS for some information about that one. And also, we'll have our mock interview schedule. So everyone is required on this December 2, 2021. So other details on that, ipopost lang namin sa LMS ninyo. Then culmination day will be December 8, 2021. Again, information about this one. So coordinate with the coach and also tingnan nyo lang doon sa LMS niyo. So these are your coaches for these codes 1031, 295, 5483, 3591, and 2328. So your coach is Ma'am Iza Aima Montada Ramos, our linkage officer in the university. Then I am assigned sa 1185 3430 3176 2831 and 3330. So please add me on your group chat. So i-add nyo lang yung Benji Diansay Mainopas LPT na account ko. Ayan. So for 3504, 1417, 694, 3771, and 3225, Ma'am Lady May Ontong. And for next, sir. Lagi sa kuha. All right. So for 3074, 3685, 5509, 5471, and 2898, your coach naman is Sir Marvin Feble, the Student Care Development Coordinator of the university. Okay, valid concerns shall be raised ahead of time. So just to remind everyone, no? So any lacking requirements of each component. So as mentioned kanina ni Sir Ray, no, yung mga kailangan yung i-submit, no, para hindi kayo ma-NG. So please be guided on that. Okay, 7.2, no, if you have if you're not able to, if you missed, no, a requirement, no, sa KL 500. And then also please be reminded, no, baka magtaka kayo, no, once matapos na ang CAED and then mabigyan kayo ng grade. So it's either 4.0 or PSD. So that means pumasa kayo, no, sa CAED. So if you need numerical grade naman, you just coordinate with the RAC kasi baka meron kayong mga scholarships. But then ang mag-reflect talaga niyan sa SPR ninyo, sa student portal, is 4.0 or past. So kung hindi naman, kung meron kayong lacking requirements, so 7.2 ang mag-reflect, no, sa grade din niyo. Okay, so another thing is so please be reminded also with yung cover letter at saka resume ninyo. So meron namang instruction din yung mga coaches ninyo doon sa LMS. So all of the activities na i-upload naman sa LMS natin. So I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. And keep safe and God bless. See you on the next seminar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
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 Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Ben.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir. Sir.
Sabi mo.
Thank you, sir.
Ayan, hindi ko pa nililig
Thank you, sir.
Wala, sabi